Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition, as always, of lesser known but awesome heroes. And today, I will actually be focusing on one of the superhuman races in the Marvel Universe, or rather, the royal family of superhumans. And for those of you who recognize these characters, oh yeah, I'm gonna have some fun. For those of you that don't, and I'm pretty sure you guys do know who these characters are, at least from watching the Fantastic Four cartoon in the 90s. But today I will be talking about the Inhumans. So let's get started. The Inhumans were created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and they debuted in Fantastic Four issue 45 in December of 1965. And they come from the fictional city of Attilan, which at first was based along the crevices of the Rocky Mountains. However, they would later move to what is referred to as the blue area of the moon. And the royal family consists of King Black Bolt, Queen Medusa, Karnak, Gargan, Triton, Crystal, Lockjaw, and Black Bolt's evil brother, Maximus the Mad. However, current Inhuman comics, at least from what I've gathered, focus on a new generation of Inhumans who are actually sent to Earth as part of a delegation that Queen Medusa wanted to integrate the Inhumans back to Earth. But I'll get into that as I get into the biography stuff. And the new generation of members are Tanja, Alaris, San, Nares, and Jolin, I think that's how you pronounce that, and one called Dawaz, who I cannot actually read his biography information. But each of them have varying abilities. Like Black Bolt, for example, has the ability to absorb kinetic energy into the prongs that are on the top of, his cowl. Medusa's hair actually has a sentientness to it, i.e. she can mentally control her long-stranding hair to tangle enemies and so on and so forth. Crystal has the ability to manipulate the elements, i.e. air, wind, water, all that. Gargan has horse hooves, which when he stomps on the ground, it causes shock waves and or tremors. Triton naturally has aquatic powers, i.e. he has to be able to swim underwater, communicate with fish. Kind of an Aquaman-ish type character. Karnak is probably the most underrated of the group, but probably one of the most powerful of the Inhumans, at least next to Black Bolt, because Karnak has the ability to actually see the weakness and flaw in anything. It could be a battle plan, it could be a brick wall, it could be basically a single person. He can find the flaw or weak point in it and just strike quickly, and it's done. Let's see. Lockjaw is actually the royal family dog, and he's this giant-sized pug, if you will, like some kind of pug creature. I call it a pug. It may be like a pit bull. It's either like a pug or a pit bull, one or the other. But he has the ability to teleport. And for those who have read Fantastic Four comics, there was a time where the Inhumans actually asked Ben Grimm to walk Lockjaw, and Lockjaw was taking him through the medieval age, the Jurassic age, outer space, just China, different parts of the universe and different dimensions. It was pretty funny. And then, let's see, I got Crystal, Gorgon, Medusa, Black Bolt, Triton, Karnak. And these new generational characters, San apparently is an artist. He can make stuff out of organic clay. Nebra, I think is how you pronounce it. Oh, Nares, there we go. She has the ability of flight and can generate electricity. Tanja actually has almost like insectoid wings or like bat wings or some kind of. She basically has wings that she can fly. And Alaris and Alaraz is actually a lovable, gentle giant of sorts who has super strength. And Jolin actually has the ability to manipulate, plant life, vegetation. I'm going through all of these characters and their powers and stuff first, just because, there is quite a lot to cover there. So yeah, did I get them all? Lockjaw, Crystal, Trenton, Corgan, Yeah, I got them all. Okay, now we can move on, guys, to the actual fictional history. By the way, one interesting thing to actually add to the Inhumans biography, they actually have weakened immune systems despite all their superhuman abilities, so they always have to keep amino boosters or try to booster their immunities with different areas that they go to, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's at least from what I've read. Somebody can point out in the comments if that's true or not. But anyway, let's get into the actual biography information because we're like 7 minutes in. At the beginning of the Kree-Skrull War, millions of years ago in Earth time, the alien Kree established a station on the planet Uranus. A strategic position between the Kree and Skrull empires. Through this work at their station, they discovered that sentient life on nearby Earth had genetic potential invested in it by the alien Calristals. I don't know, Celestials. Intrigued, the Kree began to experiment on Earth's then primitive Homo sapiens, i.e. cavemen, to produce the genetically advanced Inhuman race. Their goal was apparently tenfold: to investigate possible ways in circumventing. Couldn't read that there for a second. Circumventing their own evolutionary saturation, and to create a powerful mutant race of soldiers for use against the Skrulls. However, though their experiments were successful in creating a strain of humanity with extraordinary abilities, the Kree abandoned their experiment because a genetic prophecy had predicted that all the experiments would eventually lead to an anomaly who would destroy the Kree supreme intelligence. And their test subjects, the Inhumans, went on to form a society of their own, which thrived in seclusion from the rest of humanity and developed advanced technology. Experiments with the mutagenic Terrigen mist, a process known as Terrigenesis, gave them various powers but also caused lasting genetic damage and deformities. This led to a long-term selective breeding program to try to mitigate the effects of these mutations. Attilan's society and culture are predicted on a conformist belief system, which permits individuality as it applies to genetic development and physical and mental ability, but demands rigid conformity in that each member of society is assigned a place within that society according to those abilities followed to exposure to the mists. Once assigned, no Inhuman, no matter how great or powerful, can change their place within this rigid caste system. The Inhuman culture also strictly prohibits... it basically basically like socializing or relationship based. I'm guessing I can't pronounce this word. Miscegenation. I'm presuming that word basically implies that there can't be any mingling among other races and so on and so forth. At least at first they couldn't. I don't know. Let's move on. Although there we go. Although a member of the royal family, the Inhuman Crystal ignored this prohibition to wed the mutant Quicksilver. Yeah, okay, so that basically means that they can't mingle with any other race. They have to stay kind of within the Inhuman society. Okay, got that. I'm sorry if I'm doing kind of poorly compared to some of the other videos, guys. I just got up a couple of minutes ago. I got to be honest, in this video, at the time of me doing this, I just got up, so I'm still a little, shall we say, ragged. The Inhumans are led by their king Black Bolt and his royal family, consisting of Medusa, Karnak, Gorgon, Triton, Crystal, Maximus the Mad, and the canine Lockjaw. Both Crystal and Medusa have been members of the Fantastic Four. Crystal has also been a member of the Avengers. Black Bolt has guided the Inhumans through some of the most turbulent times in their history, including several attempts by his brother Maximus to usurp his throne, revolts by the worker class with their eventual there's that word again. Or no, with their eventual emancipation. There we go. With their eventual emancipation, attacks by human renegades, the kidnapping of Medusa, the destruction and rebuilding of Attilan, and the revelation of the Inhumans' existence to humanity. Now, his role as king of the Inhumans has been tumultuous. The first major crisis occurred when he and Medusa conceived a child. Medusa bore the child in defiance of the Genetic Council, who felt that Black Bolt's bloodline was too dangerous to pass on. The Council nevertheless took the child to examine and forbid parental contact. Black Bolt was torn between his love for his family and his duty to respect the Genetic Council. And it was only when the Council was revealed to be using his son in a plot against him that he finally turned against the Council. With that, he also gave up the crown as king of the Inhumans. For a while, they lived away from Attilan, but returned in times of need. And the once secret existence of the race has come to light among the general public as the Inhumans interact more often with many of Earth's superheroes, including the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men, whom they have aided against threats such as Galactus, Doctor Doom, Ultron, Magneto, and Apocalypse. The Inhuman society changed radically when Ronan the Accuser sought to use the Inhumans as an army to disrupt the Shi'ar control of the Kree after their defeat in the Kree-Shi'ar War. Appearing over the city of Attilan, Ronan seized control in a surprise attack and forced the Inhumans and their king Black Bolt to obey, or he would destroy their only home and everyone in it. During their time in forced servitude, Ronan revealed that the Inhumans had always been intended as weapons in service of the Kree. To this end, much of the genetic attributes that were encoded in them during the original experiments were meant to give them the abilities and appearances of various alien races, the idea being that these Inhuman slaves could be used to infiltrate alien worlds and races to conduct espionage or assassination to weaken political conquests. Ronan used the Inhumans in just this manner, disrupting treaties being negotiated by the Shi'ar and launching attacks on ships and bases. Now, eventually Black Bolt sought to free his people by challenging Ronan to personal combat. If Ronan won, the Inhumans would continue to serve him. If Black Bolt won, the Inhumans would go free. After a terrible battle, Black Bolt won, and Ronan, demonstrating that the Kree still had honor, kept his word and left the Inhumans. All was not over, however, as the Inhumans were not willing to just follow Black Bolt back to Earth. Pressure had been building in the closed society of Attilan since open contact with the outside world had been made. During their enslavement by Ronan, the Inhumans had wished for their freedom, but had also developed a sense of pride in their power and a belief in their own destiny. They no longer believed that Black Bolt or the royal family was fit to lead them in the new life they wanted, and they exiled the royal family from Attilan. The royal family returned to Earth to find their destiny, both suffering bigotry while living in Latveria. They returned to Attilan, which was located on the blue area of the moon. The Inhumans began to foster better relations with Earth by sending students to a Wisconsin university. Throughout history, their city Attilan has been frequently relocated, and as of the 2008, there we go, 2008 story arc, War of Kings, has taken off from the oxygen-bearing blue area of the moon into space. Now, we move on to the... And then there was a storyline that involved, Quicksilver taking the Terrigen crystals to regain his super speed abilities and cure depowered mutants from M-Day, and then, one confiscated the crystals and Black Bolt declared war on the U.S. There was a mini-series called Silent War, with Gorgon launching a first strike on New York. There was the whole deal with Black Bolt being part of the Illuminati and Secret Invasion, and then there was War of Kings. And yeah. Okay, let me get into War of Kings here, because this sounds interesting. Okay, now, where was I? Ah, yeah, there was Secret Invasion, that whole deal, and... Now, here's War of Kings. This is interesting. Finally deciding that they will no longer be used and abused by other races, the Inhumans take drastic actions to ensure the survival of their race. To that end, they activate a series of long-dormant machines beneath the city of Attilan and transform it into a gigantic starship that is powered by Black Bolt's voice. Holy shit. Breaking free from its resting place on the Earth, Attilan enters hyperspace and tracks down the remnants of the Skrull Armada, completely eradicating it. As Attilan enters Shi'ar space, it attracts the attention of 3 Shi'ar warships, who order them to depart or they will open fire. They too are destroyed without mercy. Attilan reaches the planet Hala, destroying the protective shield that guards their weakened empire, and enter the planet themselves. The royal family confronts Ronan the Accuser, who is serving as king. He admitted he felt that he was just holding the spot of ruler for their true king, Black Bolt. The Kree experimented on the humans to create the perfect weapons, and the Inhumans were created, but Black Bolt declined the seat of king then. And then there was a part where in Dark Reign where they confronted the Unspoken, who was Black Bolt's cousin. And then there's a deal where apparently they seized control of the Kree Empire, with the promise of jump-starting the Kree's stagnant genetic makeup. Crystal marries Ronan the Accuser. Vulcan and the Shi'ar attempt to seize control of the Kree Empire, and and then that causes the fault, which led to the Thanos imperative. And that apparently we find out that the Fantastic Four actually face a race of universal Inhumans. Apparently, the Kree had experimented with other alien races, and that they wanted Black Bolt to be their leader. Wow, this is getting complex. Many other various races, the Badan, the Centaurians, many other alien races that were experimented on. And the Supreme Intelligence wanted to destroy the Inhumans and Earth together, because apparently there was a prophecy that all these races, including the Universal Inhumans, were going to take over Earth with Black Bolt as their leader. And the Supreme Intelligence was trying to avoid the prophecy that he'd be killed by Black Bolt and the Inhumans and what have you, or just the Inhumans in general. And the Inhumans do repel this attack, and that's actually where it ends, guys. So that's it for the Inhumans. That's all the biography information that is really listed here. So with that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully me being, still kind of, not awake yet hasn't really deterred from... I doubt that it deters you guys from liking it, but still, nevertheless, Stay tuned for the next one.